Welcome, ghouls and gals, to our Patreon exclusive series, Tales from the Script, where we cover one episode at a time of one of the most iconic horror shows in history, Tales from the Crypt. And we are starting with Season 1, Episode 1, The Man Who Was Death. Directed by Walter Hill, written by Stephen Dodd, Walter Hill, and Robert Renew. It stars William Sadler, who did you recognize William Sadler in this? Did he look familiar?
He did look familiar. I had to look up the name, which I didn't recognize his name, which I'm terrible with names, but he did look very familiar.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of movies, but he's also been in a lot of horror movies. He was in Disturbing Behavior. The Mist, you would definitely know him from The Mist. And he actually did Tales from the Crypt's movie, Demon Knight, where he is, one of the main characters, if not the main character. And I also seen I don't remember this, but he was in The Grudge.
And one thing that sets this show apart from other horror series, and I never noticed this until I bought all 7 seasons and kind of just binge watched through them. Man, everybody who was anybody back then was in an episode of Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to do this show, because not only are there iconic episodes, iconic stories, but there is, so many big time actors are in this. Some big time special effects guys had parts in this. There's some real cheesy shit in this, but it's good, and it has some really good people spread throughout everything. I think almost every episode has somebody that you probably know from something else.
Yeah, I mean, even the A-listers. Like I said, everybody who was anybody, down to even Tom Hanks. When that was one that stuck out to me when I binge watched through him.
I forgot Tom Hanks.
Shit, Tom Hanks starred he was the main character in an episode of Tales from the Crypt.
I totally forgot that he was in Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah, almost like I said, everybody who was anybody. I'm super excited for this series. This is one of those shows, just that when that intro kicks in and you start seeing the house, and you go through the gate and you're coming up to the house and you go down the staircase to the basement.
It's the best.
This is one of the things, and kind of doing the podcast has kind of opened my eyes to this, and I've started realizing stuff. This is one of those things that kind of makes me realize that I was a huge lover of horror as far back as I can remember.
Probably before you realized you were a lover of horror. Back when you were a kid, you didn't put things in categories. You didn't put yourself in categories. You just kind of liked what you liked.
Yep, and I've referenced a couple other things in other episodes we've done. This is definitely one of those things. As far back as I can remember being a kid and my memory still being cloudy, I remember the excitement that I felt when an episode of Tales from the Crypt would come on, and you would hit that intro and start coming up on the house. And still to this day, when I see that intro, I get that feeling inside.
Do you have quickly one major episode that always sticks in your head?
Yeah, there is one. I don't know the name of it. I don't know why it's not the best episode out of the whole series, but it's one that I remember. It's the first one I actually ever remember watching, and it always stuck in my head. And it is where the old couples go out in the RV camping, and they're trying to get the serum to make themselves younger. And it ends up going bad, and they end up, fighting and killing each other.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, I think it's in season 4 or 5, but it is. I know we got a lot to go through before we get to that, but I'm actually excited to cover that episode because, like I said, it's the one that always stuck out in my head because it's the first episode I ever remember watching, and when I bought all of them and binge watched through them, I remember being so excited when I came to that because it's like it struck that memory back inside me.
Yeah, my favorite one, I don't know the name of it either. I don't even know if I know the name of any of these episodes, but mine was where I think they were like high school kids, or I'm pretty sure they were high school kids, and they go out to this big house in the middle of nowhere, and they're kind of the cool kids are making, I don't know if it's each one of the newer kids, they have to go through this house. And the cool kids got some of their friends hiding out in the house to scare these guys. And then the kids that go in there keep like disappearing. Like shit keeps happening. And I remember, like one by one, people go up in this house and they disappear, they die. And then you find out in the end that it's like all the girls that they were with are actually like eating them. They're like some kind of vampires or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I actually remember watching that one as a kid too. I actually remember watching that with you. I was probably 4 or 5 years old, and that episode is very similar in feeling to the scene in Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, where they
Yeah.
go in the
Yeah.
house, yeah, and they're kind of fucking with them. That has that same feel. That house has that same feel.
Yeah, I think one thing that's always stood out to me about the episode is where they find there's like something that falls out of the attic outside of the house, and one of the guys picks it up and it's like a finger, and he pulls a ring and it's like their class ring, their high school ring is on that finger, and he's like, "This is like fucking Brett's finger." Yeah, I don't know why that always stuck out to me, but and then the twist ending where it's like all the girls they were with, they like morph into like these vampire looking things, and they're like just eating the boyfriends.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Well, we have gotten way off track, but yeah, I'm excited about this whole series. This is one of my favorite things that we decided to do for the Patreon. So, but yeah, so William Sadler, J.W. Smith, Roy Brock Smith. This episode premiered on June 10th of 1989.
Yeah, it's interesting. I noticed, I seen that as well. The whole runtime of the show was almost the exact time between you being born and me being born. It ran over a little bit. I think it ran into like 96, if I believe right. I know they did 7 seasons. I'm not sure if they did it one a year or not, but I'm pretty sure it ran till like 95 or 96. So
There's a
almost
lot. There's a lot of seasons.
yeah, there's 7 seasons in total, so yeah, I thought that was interesting.
And we have them all, and we're going to be covering them all right here. So it was filmed on location in Los Angeles, and it is only 26 minutes long. I don't remember it being that short. I thought they were like 40 minutes long.
I don't know if they're all that short. They might be. I feel
maybe it's just the first season.
I feel like watching that episode, it felt really short, like a lot shorter than a lot of the other episodes.
It was short. Yeah. So we'll get into the episode here. The Crypt Keeper looks fucking awesome. Like that was my first note I took was he came on the screen, and for some reason he always looks better than I remember.
Yeah, they did such a fucking awesome job. That's all I can say. Like he's consistently awesome looking in like every intro of this show. And I think that's another thing that when I was a kid attracted me to this so much was the Crypt Keeper intros.
It's probably one of the best, if not the best intro to a show.
Yeah, the puppeteers, the FX people who worked on it, the puppeteers who ran it, the voice guy, the writers who wrote all the little Crypt Keeper one-liners that's always in there. And they're always good. Like, you would think, after 7 seasons of doing the show that it would be hard to come up with 4 or 5 awesome one-liners that went with the show. But they're all good. They're super cheesy, super good. And the Crypt Keeper just always looks fucking amazing.
Do you know the next thing that I'm going to say?
No.
I'm surprised.
I left my crystal ball.
Those are motherfucking Chucky's eyes.
Oh, yeah.
That's the first thing when I seen it. That's the first thing I thought of is, Oh my God, that's Chucky from Child Play 1. That's his eyeballs in there.
I don't ever think about
I do.
that.
I don't know why it's interesting to me,
It's a
but it
really
just is.
it's a really cool fact, but I always forget it. Like I'm always in awe of how awesome the whole setup and how there's like I think 5 or 6 puppeteers that run him at once. So the choreography that goes into that, I know there's like one guy, but I know that they credit, I think, 5 different guys as far as puppeteer work, and they nail it, man. For such a low budget show too, back in those times, like if that came out now, I would if they remade this show, which I know they talked about years ago with M Night. This was like probably 10 years ago, but they were supposed to revive the show, and M Night Shyamalan
Shamalaman.
Shyamalan was supposed to do it, and it was supposed to be on TNT, and I don't ever know what happened with that. But if they remade this now, and it looked the exact same, it would still look good to today's standards.
Another thing I noticed this time around was executive producer Robert Zemeckis. I had no idea he had anything to do with this. That was really interesting. I don't know how much he actually has in the hand of the show, but yeah, I mean that's a big name.
Man, I thought he worked on all of them.
I don't know. You know, I'm not sure. I never really realized he was connected
He's
to it.
a producer, right?
He's an executive producer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he did all 7 seasons. I could be wrong about that, but I think he did.
He's a really
There's-
he's a really good storyteller, and he almost everything he does is almost gold. So
Yeah, I watched, and I think it might be in some of the bonus footage that came with the whole set that I got, but it was kind of them bringing the comic books to life, and I'm pretty sure he was one of the lead guys in making that happen.
well, we'll jump into it. So we start off. We hear a man telling a story about an inmate who is heading to the electric chair, and he basically got mad that he didn't get a raise, and he shot his boss. And we hear the guy who's telling the story's got this kind of country accent, and he says, "Charlie's gonna die in a few minutes." Niles introduces himself as a country boy from Oklahoma who loves the city. In the beginning of his adult years, he was an electrician, and he got hired by the state prison to repair power generators. A few years later, he gets hired as the new executioner.
How do you go from being a fucking electrician to being the lead guy in charge of killing people in a prison? Like, I wonder if it was really like that back in the day. Because
Well-
nowadays they wouldn't.
Well, I mean, yeah, back then I could see it being a little more easier than it is now. You probably got to take. You probably got to have all these certifications
Oh,
and
yeah.
shit.
Oh yeah, there's probably certifications out the fucking ass. You got to probably have like a certain degree they want you to have. There's probably a lot that goes into that. I can tell you, it's not your local electrician putting people to death.
Yeah, so he claims that he doesn't believe in using gas chambers or lethal injection like they do in a lot of other states, saying that basically saying that that is a method to kill animals like dogs or cats, but that's not for man. For man has to be the electric chair.
Electricity is reliable.
I get the sense this guy really, really enjoys his job.
He really enjoys killing people
Not just killing people, electrocuting people to death.
and watching it. Like he makes the comment about how he loves to look them in the eyes right as they're dying, and
It's weird.
This dude's all about fucking killing some people. Another thing I noted, this is the darkest fucking prison I've ever seen,
And the tightest.
Do they turn lights on ever?
It's
in this place?
dark. None of the hallways are bigger than like 2 feet. Everyone has to walk sideways through the hallways for some reason. Makes no sense of why you would design the hallways, like, especially when you're hiring mostly pretty fat cops.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they're all too big to walk in there like shoulders, straight. They always have to turn their shoulders sideways, walk through.
They all had to become correction officers because they couldn't run people down anymore.
So that night, Niles goes into a restaurant and orders a cheese sandwich and a black coffee. And when he sees a news report about an argument to ban the death penalty, I think you can probably see where this story is going. Some say that if banned, it will increase the crime rate and cause overcrowding in the prisons. And some say the execution still qualified as murder. The next day, the death penalty is banned. It's amazing. That happened in one day.
Well, this whole show actually
Happens in one day.
No, I think this whole thing takes place over like
A month.
at least a year period. Judging by the end and kind of how they jump from person to person, I think this definitely they don't make it known, but it obviously takes place over quite some time.
Well, it's more interesting to me if it happens in a day.
Yeah, if this all happened in a day, that would be.
I'm gonna give it a week. That's kind of the vibe I got. This whole from
you
start
think-
to beginning took a week.
Do you think it was meant to be a whole week?
No, I just feel like I feel like that's kind of that's how their storytelling kind of that's the direction it pointed me in.
Hey,
I know that can't be true.
they only had 26 fucking minutes.
That's what I'm saying.
You know how hard that would be to fit this whole thing, and they have like a.
Well, they had extra. They could have used more than 26 minutes. Like I'm sure they could have went the whole 30.
I'm sure HBO was like, "Hey, this is what it's gonna be, and that's how much time you got." Especially, this was the first episode, so they didn't know how successful this was gonna be.
Yeah. So the next day, the death penalty is banned, and Niles is fired as the executioner. He can't get his old job back as the designated electrician because someone else has already taken over the role before he was reassigned.
This is fucked up.
They couldn't
man.
give him any other job.
Yeah, I thought he got raw dogged like a motherfucker with no lube.
Well, their excuse is like, well, the prisoners, they know that you're the executioner, that you couldn't give him a job like at the front gate where there are no prisoners.
How do they know anyway? Like the only people who ever see him are people getting put to death. Like he doesn't do anything else other than just put people to death.
They could have put him in the tower with the sniper rifle.
They could have did anything.
He could have cut the grass.
Could have just made sure that
Damn.
the electricity and the razor wire was running good. I don't know, man. He got, like I said, he got fucked over. Nailed with no lube for sure. I think he mentions like 2 years as the electrician and then 12 years flipping the switch. So he's got at least 14 years at this place, and they just fire him. And their excuse for him not being able to get his old job is somebody else has already got that job. They're like, don't you remember you trained him?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure that they could have two of them. The other guy's got to take a vacation sometime. Makes sense to have two of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, on top of that, like, this guy's been here longer. He was at the highest job that you could have as an electrician, I guess, in a prison. I guess that's like that's the marquee spot you shoot for.
The only other place to work is be like the electrician of the White House.
Yeah. This dude, he must have had it fucking made too. You would think he would still be the head electrician because you know how it is. But like a state will put a handful of people to death a year. And that's, where does this take place? Oklahoma? I know he's born in Oklahoma.
No, it's filmed in on location in LA, so I think it's supposed to be LA.
So this is supposed to take place in LA, so I don't know.
I guess.
Still, what does he come into work like once every month at most?
He puts a lot of people to death.
Flip a switch.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like he had to have some other job at the prison. I don't know. I thought he got a very, very shitty deal. I'm surprised he didn't kill this warden.
Your job as an electrician is very honorable. Those who listen to our Saul episode will totally get that. You know what he should have did is he really could have solved this whole entire problem if he just killed the guy that had the other job.
Bro, speaking of Saul, imagine the trap that Jigsaw would come up with for him. Because Jigsaw would like figure it out.
You
He's
were an
killing these
electrician.
people. Yep.
You put people to death for 12 years.
He would have to like electrocute himself a bunch to get out of some trap.
Yeah.
Have to like kill himself with electricity and then hopefully revive himself somehow. I don't know. That's a whole nother wormhole we could go down. But I would love to see, and the chances of it ever happening are very slim. But a crossover of this guy into the
Slim to none.
I'll keep my fingers crossed.
So, one thing I do want to bring up that he talked about is he talked about how executions are so popular. Like if they made a TV show out of it, people would watch it, and I was like, "Yep, yeah. Like there ain't no doubt about it." You know, people would tune into that. I 100% believe that he is correct.
Humans have always been attracted to watching suffering and violence and just murder in general, all the way back to like the Roman Colosseum. People would go watch people kill each other. You know, as far as the timeline, we don't do that now, but since we stopped doing stuff like that, it's been such a short period of time. And in other places in the world, they do like public executions in the street in some Middle Eastern countries, and people celebrate and cheer it on. I 100% agree that would be the highest watched show by far.
So the next day, a vicious biker named Jimmy Flood, what a fucking name, is on trial for murder. He is found guilty, but he is acquitted because the arrest warrant was not worded correctly. This motherfucker immediately throws on his fucking leather jacket over his jail uniform and he walks out the courtroom like no checking out with the police, no going back to the jail to get his stuff. And then he like assaults the victim's sister in the courtroom, and he grabs her and he shakes her. And I'm like, dude, you're going to go right back to jail.
This is the most hardcore, like, I don't give a fuck biker thing to wear is your prison jumpsuit under your leather jacket. Well, like, I feel like every Hell's Angel looks up to this guy.
Well, his girlfriend was like, oh, shit, grab Jimmy's jacket just in case he gets acquitted today.
Yeah, and you know what's fucked up about this is something that actually happens in our judicial system. Like some paperwork gets worded wrong or something small ends up fucked up and people get off with stuff. Like this has happened.
I thought you were going to say people throw their jackets on and walk right out of court.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure that's probably happened too, but yeah, as far as this guy getting away with it, and it's like very obvious he did it, but there was some type of clerical error, and it ends up causing the entire case to collapse, and somebody gets off.
So later, Niles is seen in his garage and quoted as saying, "I got nothing special against bikers. Hell, I used to own a hog myself once upon a time. But this biker, Jimmy Flood, now he went way out of line, and he ought to pay."
Niles seems like he owned a motorcycle at some point.
No, a hog.
Yeah.
Not just any motorcycle, a hog.
I refuse to call a motorcycle that. That's the South Park guys.
So was it a requirement for all bikers to have that hairstyle? That is like the essential biker hairstyle. It's not quite a mullet because it's not short enough in the front, but it's got the back of a mullet. I don't know. It's just like long hair, just combed straight back.
Bro, 99.9% of Harley riders in 1989 had this hairstyle. That is a fact. I looked it up.
At the end, when they got him in the police station talking to him, there's a shot where the cop's like walking through the police station. There is a biker with that exact hair in the background. And I was like,
I thought it was him at first.
That's what I was like, is that the same actor? Did they just not have enough money to hire a separate actor for that?
It was the pilot episode.
Jimmy Flood to just be in the background?
Yeah, I noticed that too. I thought it was the same guy. You know who Niles is? Niles is the fucking Dexter of electricity.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he feels that need to like take out the trash himself because Dexter was a part of the system. He worked for the police force. And I guess when you're in that system, you see the flaws that system has. And some people just feel the need to, make up the difference.
And Dexter was like, he had an issue. He had this urge to murder people.
The dark passenger.
And this guy does too. He clearly really enjoys being the person who kills these bad guys. And he's
the electric passenger.
I'm telling you, man, he is the electric Dexter.
Electric Dex. That night, Jimmy Flood is driving by on his bike and he tries to break into a fenced property, but is killed in the process after Niles hooked up the metal gate with electric wires. Showed him
edextricity.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
You should trademark that.
Yeah, I heard you throw those two words together, and that last sentence kind of just sprung to me.
So later on, Niles goes to a bar where the news story is on TV, and since detectives believe Flood's death was caused by a fallen phone wire, Niles acquires a newfound confidence in himself. At the next trial, Theodore Karn and Cynthia Baldwin are on trial for murder in the first degree, and what a surprise, they're both found not guilty. Niles tells us that Karn was cheating on his wife with Cynthia and a divorce was out of the question because his wife had full control over the money and he and Cynthia decided to kill her. Niles later goes to their home and uses their hot tub to electrocute them. Dude, she snitched that dude out quick as fuck.
Yes, she did. She threw him under the bus fucking faster than...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was quick.
Niles didn't even show up with like a gun or a knife or anything. He had some kind of like electric thing in his hand, but it wasn't threatening. And, he shows up and he says, yeah, I find you guilty. And she's immediately like, oh, it was him. It was him. Like, yeah. I don't know how the police didn't crack her when questioning.
Yeah, they obviously didn't try very hard. Unfortunately, this very scenario has played out a lot of times and people have gotten away with it for lack of evidence. But yeah, she cracks on him really fucking quick.
She's like, it was his idea. He wanted to kill her. I was like, damn. So after a failed attempt on a young stripper's life, he is then busted for his crimes. So basically, what happens is he goes into the strip club and he decides that he's going to kill this stripper. I don't remember. Did it say what she got away with? I don't think it did.
No, he never mentions it. He just mentions
maybe he just didn't like her.
No, he mentions that she got away with murder. He did say that.
Oh, he says, I wonder how you're going to dance when I put 10,000 volts in your ass. I was like, yeah. Oh,
bro,
okay.
How did nobody notice the fucking jumper cables obviously attached to this cage in the strip club?
Oh, because it was the 80s and everything was edgy and they probably just thought it was like aesthetic.
That's even for the 80s, that's not a very good aesthetic.
She's in a fucking cage dancing. Like if I walked in a place now and there's a girl pretty much naked dancing in a cage, I'd be like, why is that girl in a cage?
Maybe there was a lot of bird fetishes.
Like how's that
in the late 80s?
How's that sexy? Being in a cage.
I don't know.
Get that woman some water.
There's Ted Bundy guys out there who just love to see women locked up.
Where's the key?
Where they kill them.
Do you think that there's going to be boobs in every episode?
There's boobs in almost every episode.
All right, starting here, we're going to keep track. And because I feel like there's probably going to be boobs in 95% of these episodes. I can't recall an episode exactly where there wasn't some boobs. So we're going to see if there is any. There's not any.
Maybe that episode with the old couple that I mentioned.
You sure there's no old boobs?
I'm not sure. There's boobs in most of these episodes. And I feel like that's just part of what makes it Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah.
Like, it's like 80s slashers. There's got to be like some
boobs.
Yeah, some
blood and boobs.
Yep. premarital sex, drugs.
Weed.
Yeah,
It's almost
somebody
always
smoking
weed. I mean, people say drugs, but
and there
it's
was some
rarely
cocaine back then too. Cocaine was like hip back when a lot of the slashers were made in the 80s.
Yeah, there's a Friday the 13th where he goes to pick up his girlfriend from, she's like a waitress, and he's like doing blow out in the car, and he gets killed. Do you remember that one? Yeah.
Yeah.
She comes out and he's like, the car's there and the coke's there, but he's like missing. I think she does a little bit of the coke before she gets killed too.
Cocaine was like
It's a hell of a drug.
was the party drug then.
Doing cocaine off of boobs.
Now we can't even do cocaine off of boobs anymore because we might get fentanyl and fucking die.
Not even worth it. I also noticed that in a lot of the 80s, the boobs were shiny. Like you had to have baby oil, blood, and boobs. This would be a t-shirt.
Somebody had to rub those titties with baby oil before they shot the scene.
Oh,
that poor man.
What a shitty job.
Yeah, that poor guy.
Yeah, I need a t-shirt. It's like 80 slashers, baby oil, blood, and boobs.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to see my boobs all natural, not shiny. I like them to have a nice matte skin tone too.
Can I get some matte boobs? Oh, man.
Where are those dry titties at?
Another thing is, like, I thought he was just kind of doing the intro for him killing her. And then when he went back there and he was like, doing the switches or whatever, I was like, is he going to fucking kill her in front of all these people?
Oh, yeah. Well, like you said, his confidence was gone up. Like every kill, his confidence got more and more.
Oh, that's
and
wild.
This was a guy who did not need any more confidence. Like from the very beginning of this episode, this guy is got 10 out of 10 confidence. Like he goes on a whole rant about like hooking up with chicks and how easy it is.
Just went out, got me some.
Getting their panties and, what is it? What's the line he used? You
treat whores like queens and queens like whores. Yeah. Yeah, so right after, basically he gets caught and then he gets convicted. What do you know? The fucking death penalty is reintroduced.
Yeah, that's why.
Big surprise.
That's why I think this took place over at least a year. This had to be like re-voted on at some point.
Maybe they got good politicians that actually get shit done.
They're like, it's been a year and there is way too many people in the prisons. Everybody that murders somebody, when they admit to it, they're like, oh, it's because of that death penalty. Now you're just going to keep me alive and feed me for the rest of my life.
So, yeah, the death penalty is reintroduced, and Niles just happens to be the next victim. He's next up to the chopping block. And he is shown screaming and sobbing, being led to his death by the officers he once worked alongside. And his last words were, "It is my job. That's why I did it, because it's my job. If a man ain't good at his job, then what the hell is he good for?" He was executed, and his final thoughts were, "I didn't want no haircut. They said that was a mistake, 'cause my head might catch on fire from the electricity when they juice me. I told them, don't worry, the governor gonna call."
Yeah, no call. The
Nope, didn't happen.
phone did not ring. This is the classic story of poetic justice. But honestly, everybody he killed deserved it. It's like if they busted Dexter and then, you feel bad. You're like, fuck, not Dexter. Everybody he killed kind of had it coming anyway. I mean, I don't know what that stripper did, but the other two people.
I need to know what she did. I feel like she probably killed a guy for his money. That's kind of a stripper crime.
Probably had it in the story, and HBO was like 26 minutes. We told you 26
Not 27
fucking minutes.
Not 27. It's got to be 26. Well, they do need the extra times for the intro and the outro too, but
one thing I wish they would have did was have him, because he kind of talks, he kind of narrates after his death a little bit, and because it's almost like he's narrating from being dead.
He is.
And I wish that they would have addressed, because he mentions in the beginning that he's like, they say, when you die by electricity, that the inmates don't feel a thing because your brain is instantly fried. And he's like, I would hate to think that that's true. Like, he likes for these people to fucking suffer.
Yep.
I wish that they would have added him in there at the end talking about how wrong it was.
Yeah, well,
how painful it was.
Hindsight was 20/20 for him. So then we go into the outro. We go back onto the Crypt Keeper's basement. And this is where it's kind of the classic Crypt Keeper. And he says, what a revolting development. And what a switch for poor Talbot. It just goes to show you what happens when you get too caught up in your work. Don't worry, though. I'm sure he never knew what hit him. So remember, boys and girls, safety first.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
You stole all my quotes at the end. I typed out these fucking awesome quotes that the Crypt Keeper had, and I wasted my fucking time.
Oh, man, you didn't have to type them out. So what I did was I went and found the quotes and copied and pasted them.
Well, I was actively watching the episode, so I just started typing.
Yeah, so William Sadler originally auditioned to play the detective that arrested the main character. The casting director originally wanted to get Christopher Walken for the role.
That would have been good, too.
I thought Christopher Walken would have been awesome on this role, too.
Yeah, I thought no matter who you said, I was going to say no, because this guy played the role so good. Like, they completely did not make a mistake by saying, hey, no, you deserve a bigger part. You need to play this guy because he does a really good job. But Christopher fucking Walken,
I think he would have been better.
Would have killed this shit.
I think he would have been better. And I don't know this off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure Christopher Walken was in a Tales from the Crypt at some point. Yeah. I want to say he was.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he was. He was famous then. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he was famous.
Oh yeah, he was famous long before this.
Yeah. Well, they should have had him in 2 episodes because he should have been.
It might be.
Like him, maybe William Dafoe could have played this part pretty good, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if William Dafoe could have did the country accent though.
No, they would have had to not do a country accent. That would be kind of weird for Christopher Walken too, I feel.
Yeah, he does kind of talk like he's from New York.
Yeah, all they'd have to do is change up the accent to like a New York accent. But man, I feel like he could have killed this part as well.
Yeah, so this is one of the few episodes where the Crypt Keeper does not announce the name of the episode in the beginning. So I guess that makes sense though, because it's kind of their first, like your first few, this is a first episode of something. I'm sure that, we're going to add something to this or do something a little different in the next few episodes, but they probably just didn't have, you're still cutting your teeth. You're trying to get in that groove. So.
Well, I think this was the pilot episode too.
Probably.
So they probably didn't have a name for it yet. They were just trying to get a show.
So the kill count is 5 if you include Talbot. I gave it a 3.6.
I forgot to rate it. I didn't know we were rating it like movies. I didn't know that was a thing.
You don't have to.
Like you said, this series will grow and develop, and we'll get this fucking shit together.
Oh yeah,
one of these days.
Well,
so off the top of my head, I'll give it a 3.8.
That's yeah. I mean, this is mostly just something fun to do because when we do our movie, there's a lot of research and a lot of structure and a lot of writing that goes into that. There's not with this. This is just we love Tales from the Crypt, and it kind of lets us just kind of fucking talk about how funny it is and how fucking cool it is, and it's kind of just for fun. So
I'll even top that. I'll go with the best kill. And it's that fucking grimy ass piece of shit who killed his wife and took the money. And mainly because he offers him $200 fucking bucks.
I thought about that. I was like, ooh, $200. I guess $200 then would be like $400 now, but that's still not enough.
Yeah, when somebody literally tracks you down, breaks in your house, and is killing you as like a justice for somebody you killed, $400 isn't very much. $200's even worse. I feel like Nowadays, $200 would get you like a half of a grocery cart full of groceries.
Yeah.
Can you not kill me for half a cart of groceries, please?
Well, that is it for us. We hope that you enjoyed our first episode of Tales from the Script. I hope you had as much fun as we did. We have so many iconic Tales from the Crypt episode to do. I can't wait. Thank you for being a Patreon member. We greatly appreciate your support of the show. All proceeds from this go directly to keeping the show up and running. We appreciate it. You got any last words?
No, just I hope you guys enjoyed it. You know, this is an awesome series. Super excited to do it, and I appreciate you for being a Patreon member.
Treat a whore like a queen and a queen like a whore.
Amen to that.